Okay, I'm going to tie a Ruby Two Midge. This is a pattern that comes from the fly tying desk of Stan and Carol Parker of Riverrun Outfitters in Branson, Missouri. The shop is located on Lake Taneycomo. This particular pattern is used by a lot of the locals in the area. It's an excellent tailwater pattern, used a lot in the entire whitewater system. Carol and Stan like to tie this on a TMC 100. I'm going to tie it on an 060 Dairiki. It's a size 18. On the shank I have a tungsten bead. It's copper, 5/64. For thread I'm going to be using some black. This is Vivus. Anything from 8/0 down will work fine. This happens to be 12/0. Start the thread behind the bead and bring the thread about halfway down the shank. Cut off the tag end. For the body of the fly we're going to be using some holograph tinsel in red. This is a medium in size. I'm going to tie the tinsel on here at the halfway point down the shank. I've got a little bit of a tag sticking over. Pull it back until it's behind the bead. Then I'm going to continue to wrap forward over the tinsel. Now I'm ready to go ahead and wrap back towards the bend, capturing the tinsel as I go. And we're going to go down just slightly beyond the bend. I'll bring my thread forward again to behind the bead, and then back down to the halfway point. By doing that, I'm starting to form just a little bit of a tapered body. For the ribbing, I'm going to be using some small black ultra wire. And we'll tie it on that same location, halfway down the shank. Wrap back towards the bead, and we'll pull our wire back underneath the bead. Continue wrapping down behind the bead. Now I'm ready to come back down the shank to the bend. I'm going to pull the wire underneath the shank and wrap it back almost to the end. Got just a little bit of a gap there between the wire and the tinsel. Bring my thread forward. To behind the bead, and you can notice that we do have a slight taper. Okay, I'm going to make a half hitch, hold my thread in place. Then I'm going to put a little layer of head cement on the thread. Probably isn't necessary, but I'm going to do that to make the fly just a little bit durable. Okay, the first wrap of tinsel will go behind the wire. This will help keep the wire perpendicular to the shank and will make that first wrap a lot easier. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring my cradle around, put my thread over the cradle, and I'm going to use my rotary to go ahead and wind on the tinsel. Okay, we'll tie it off. Okay. And we can clip the excess tinsel to tag in. Okay, I'm going to make just a couple wraps. Try to secure that tag end of tinsel. And I'm going to put in another half hitch. Okay, we're ready then to bring our wire forward, counter wrap it, Make that first wrap, and then we'll use our rotary vise to make the rest of the wraps. 5 or 6 wraps would be great. Okay, we'll take our thread off of the cradle, and we'll tie off our ribbing. He'll helicopter off the wire. Form just a little bit of a head. Whip finish. And we can cut off our tag end or cut off our thread. Okay, at this point some people like to put a layer of UV glue over the fly. I don't particularly like to do that, but I do like to put a coat of head cement on the thread. Okay. Here we have the Ruby Two Midge.